Okie dokie. So, with FlexMLS pulled up, let's begin. First off, if you've never been in FlexMLS before, welcome. This is FlexMLS. So, you have a general, navigation panel right here on the left that called menu, and that's where you can access any feature in the MLS. Okay, today's we'll be going over quick search, which can be found under the search feature and quick search. If you are ever looking for any item in Flex, there is a search menu button or option right here. You can type in, and it will break down what you're looking for. However, I will also mention that you have a quick access bar, and by default, every single user is going to have quick search on their quick access bar right here. If you don't see it for whatever reason on your quick access bar and you would like it there, if you go over here to menu and then anything with a gold star is going to be on your quick access bar right there. So, hey, click it. Now it's not there. Click it. Now it's there. And it's down at the end. And I don't like that. So I'm going to click reorder over there on the top right. If I'm moving too fast there, we're going to click reorder. I'm going to find quick search and I'm going to move it to the first option, hit save. Yep. And then now it's back on your quick access bar. So while that's not directly related to quick search, you learned a little something there. And before I officially dive into doing a quick search like demonstration, I do want to address this top search bar here. So everyone in Flex has this top search bar. This is a search feature of sorts. However, it is not the main search feature for looking up multiple listings in the system. This search bar at the top here is good for one thing and one thing only, and that is looking up individual subject properties in Flex MLS. So if you have an address, a street name, an MLS number, and you're just trying to look up a listing really quick, this is what that is good for. Most of the time, people would use that if they are driving by a house and they know what street a listing might have, they saw a sign out and they know what street it was. They just couldn't remember the address. They could look it up by street name in here and pull it up really quick. But you can also look it up in quick search. So let's go ahead and dive into quick search. Alrighty. So on quick search, hang on, I'm getting my chat here just to make sure I don't miss any questions. In quick search, this is what it looks like. It's like, oh, you have 6,227 listings found. Pretty sure you don't want to go through 6,000 listings. So you can break it down with the search criteria on the left here. So we'll start at the top. By default, when you click on quick search, most people are going to see one dash residential. That means that is the property type in which you are searching. There are multiple different property types in Flex MLS, and if you click on one dash residential or change search template right here, they both do the same thing. You can select the different property types that you are looking for. So, everyone knows residential land, residential income multifamily. Residential lease, that's a fancy way of saying rental property. Commercial sale, commercial lease. And then down here, you have a couple of other options, including a comp data entry. That's for comp only listings if you're looking for those. But then you also have a multi property search. And the multi property search is if you wanted to look up residential and land listings like at the same time, or rentals and residential at the same time for whatever reason. You do have that option. For today's demonstration, I'm going to keep it simple and use the most common one, and that is the residential. So we'll just keep it on residential. So below that is your actual search criteria breakdown right here. And so we'll start at the top. I'm going to zoom in on this, so maybe it might be easier for you to see. But if you look here at the very top, this is where this top bar here is similar to what this other top bar was that I showed you earlier. This is if you have a specific street name, MLS number that you want to look up, you can type it in here and double click it, and it will add to your search. Below that is your status. By default, in quick search, your statuses are going to be selected to all active statuses or anything that count, like, anything that considers active compilation. So you have active, you have contingency, right of first refusal, and active new construction. All right, those are selected by default. If you ever need to change that and go into looking up pending listings, closed listings, for comp purposes, you can click on the status field box here and it will expand down, and then you can select the other options. For the first part of this, I will just go over looking up active listings, and then I'll show you how you can look up closed listings and different items you could do with those closed listings. Everything else is pretty much anything else you would see when looking up a property, price, subtypes, bathrooms, bedrooms, county, city, all that fun stuff. But if you are ever looking right here and there's not a field that you are searching for, you might think, oh, what the heck? Like it doesn't have what I'm looking for. Well, there is a add a field box or button right down here. This little blue button that says add a field. And if you haven't clicked this before, brace yourself because there is a lot of search criteria and different fields in Flex, and you'll see that here now. So if you click add a field, as you can see, it's not missing on different items you can search by. And you see how I'm still scrolling and we're only halfway down that list? Yeah, it's a lot. So fortunately, Flex has a find a field option up here at the top. So, like, let's say you were looking for something with a workshop, you could type in workshop. If only I knew how to spell right here. And then, as you can see, other structures, workshop, and you can click that and it will add to your search criteria down here. So if there's anything that you are, looking for, like if you wanted something with, brick only or brick fence, brick flooring, any of those type of items, you can keyword search it right there by clicking that blue add a field button, and then voila. So that's a simple breakdown of the property type and the difference and the way you can do search criteria when looking for listings in the system. But now let's jump into actually navigating quick search, looking for some properties, and then I will show you what these other items here on the right can do. For this first little example, I'm just going to do a hypothetical, and let's say that we have a client that has a budget of 450,000. They're looking for a house in Hernando, Mississippi that has a pool. Okay. For those that aren't in, I'm in the Northwest area, so I'm going to use, cities that I, know for sure are in the area for in that price range. But you can obviously reflect that for whatever area you are looking for. So we're going to say 450,000 in Hernando that has a pool. So let's go over here on the left, and I'm going to keep the active statuses just the way they are. We're going to go down to current price, click it, and it will expand. And now you can enter the price range that you are looking for. So you can put a minimum price in there. And I know in Hernando, there's no reason really to put a minimum price right here, but you can. I'll just, do 150 just to be on the safe side. And then a max, I'm going to put 450. Now you notice I just put that in the hundreds right here, 450, because it automatically is going to have it in the hundreds of thousands right here with these three other zeros. I only say that because if you put 450,000 right here, you are now looking for homes that have a maximum value of 450 million. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know if there are $450 million residential homes in the state of Mississippi. And if there is, it's a hidden gem, and please show it to me. I would love to see it. Someone coming in. Okay, so we're going to backtrack that and keep it reasonable at 450,000. So we got the price down. Now let's scroll down a little bit. All right. So I said I wanted it in Hernando. So you do have county and city right here. If you were looking it up specifically by a city, you can actually you can skip county because if it's in Hernando, it's going to know what county it's going to be in. But if you wanted to put the county, you could click it, type in the county you were looking for. I know it's going to be in DeSoto, and then voila, it'll add to it. So, but now we're going to go down and add Hernando to this. And just to let you know, let's say that they're also open to homes in Olive Branch, Mississippi, or another city. You can add as many cities as you want to the search. So I've added Hernando. I typed it in and clicked it. But let's say I can add Olive Branch. You can also type it, click it, and then it will add Olive Branch to your search. Voila, right here. but we'll just stick with Hernando for right now. And then I said I wanted a pool. Now, by default, pool is on there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to deselect workshop, and then pool is on here. So I'm going to select pool. Yes. And you're going to see this view 97 results quickly dwindle down to 3 results right here. I'm going to zoom out. And so we have our search now. We have 3 results in that price range in Hernando. And you can see here on the map, it throws little green dots there, which is great. You can kind of get a general idea of where these houses might be, but you want to take a closer look at it. And how do we do that? Well, in the top right above the map, these are the different ways you can view the listings that you have results for. So you have a list right here, this button, and that if you click that, it's going to bring it up in a list style view of the properties. Now, depending on, your flex, you might have looked at it a different way. It might look 2 different ways. It might look like this in list view. It might look like this in list view. Okay, you can change that by just clicking these 2 little buttons right here. So this one right here is going to be considered the normal view. This one, and then if you click the button right beside it, that's going to change it to a 1-line list view right here. And so you can kind of give a quick little breakdown of the houses and what they look like. I personally like the normal view because it shows the primary photo. Now, that's list view. If you look right beside the word list, that's going to show detail view. And this is my preferred method of looking at properties in Flex because it has kind of the best of both worlds. And you'll see if I click detail, I'll have like a mini list view on the side here, just a little bit scooted over, and then you have a full detail report of the property. So we'll use this one as an example here, and this is how you can look at it. So now we have detail view. You've done a quick search. Now I'm going to show you what to kind of look for on an actual detail report within quick search. So at the top, it's going to have more your general information about the property, legal descriptions, parcels, directions to property. Down here, it's going to have some tax and public information here. Then it'll have school districts. And then in the middle of the listing are going to be your agent and your public remarks. And this is a perfect time to just give you a friendly reminder that in public remarks, the best advice I ever give people with that is please keep it about the subject property, because people would always ask, hey, can I put this in public remarks? Hey, can I put this in public remarks? And I ask them, is it about the subject property or is it about you and your company or something else? And if the answer to that is yes, then it probably does not need to go in public remarks.
Agent, how can I help you?
Oop, somebody is unmuted. Let's mute them. All right. So in public remarks, biggest rule, just don't add branding to it. Okay. No branding in public remarks. And the reason for that, it's kind of a shoe on the other foot situation. All right. Let's say that you found a listing for a client and you want them to check it out. So you send them the public version of this listing from Flex, and they go and look at it and they see that the listing agent put their contact info in the public remarks. And they think, ooh, maybe I can get a better deal on this house by contacting them. And next thing you know, you don't hear anything back from them, and then 2 months go by, and then you see that that agent closed with your client that you started with, and that's not fun. So let's keep anything like branding related out of public remarks. Agent remarks, I don't care what you put in there. You could put a joke in there for all, but usually it's constructive stuff, that might be important. But when looking at a detail report, if you are looking at that property for a client, I always recommend reading the agent and public remarks and making sure everything is good. And then it also could come in handy because in agent remarks, they could put, hey, there's a loose piece of wood on the front porch. Be careful stepping. Anything like that. Below that are going to be, anything from showing requirements, lot box access, the structure type, the heating, the cooling, and then at the very bottom is going to have the listing members information. Okay. Now, First time looking at a detail report in Flex, especially if you're new to Flex MLS, it might be a little, or it might be a lot to look at. And if you're anything like me, your eyes might go to a million different places and you might be looking for something specific. Well, I'm going to show you a quick little computer tip of the day, and that is Control F. So if you hit Control F on your computer, you can keyword search anything that is on your screen with text. And just FYI, that is not a Flex feature, that is a computer feature. So if you are looking at anything on your computer, whether it's on the internet, whether it's on a PDF document, a Word document, a PowerPoint, you can hit Control F and you can keyword search anything and it will highlight it as you type it in. Okay, so you're welcome. There's your computer tip of the day. And for my Mac users, congrats. That is not Control F, it is Command F on a Mac. So just I like to include my Mac folks. I'm doing this on a Windows desktop, but my laptop is a Mac, so I know both systems and respect both systems. And again, that's Control F, keyword search anything you are looking for. Now, we've looked at a detail report. The next tab over are your photos. This is basically if you've ever looked at anything with photos on the internet before, this is pretty straightforward. You have arrows that you can, click through. You can also go at the bottom, like if you wanted to skip to a certain part of the listing, voila, you can do that. And then in Flex, if there are any videos or virtual tours, they will also appear here. So like this one has a virtual tour. This is from Property Panorama. You can click View Tour and it will open up right there for you. Videos will play automatically through Flex if you click the play button. And so, yeah, photos are pretty straightforward. Now, Map, on the other hand, is another cool one. And this is where I'm going to show you something that even maybe seasoned Flex users, they may not be aware of. So what I'm going to first do is on the map view where you can see the listings here, you can see there's a star on the one we are currently looking at, and then you have that one and that one. Let's say that you looked at these three properties and you want to check them all out, just drive by all of them, and you want to set up a driving route for yourself from Flex and to send to your phone. Well, I recommend checking all of these on the left, make sure they're all selected. Then in the map view right here, there is a little button on the top right below the word map that says driving directions. You can click driving directions and it will give you a Google Map link that you can open up. And I'm going to click on view on Google Maps. And now Google Maps will open up and it will give you a driving route from these listings. And if you hover over each one, it will show you where it is. So it starts at the one a little bit further south and then goes north and then more north. But let's say that you don't want that. You can actually hover over on the left of each of the addresses and you can drag them around. So like, let's say you want it to start there, then go here. Now it'll start with this one, go to this one, and then finally to the bottom one. And then there's an option. If you have a Google account, you can send directly to your phone and it'll email to you, or you can copy the link here and email it to yourself to open it up on your phone. And then you'll have driving directions and a nice little route set up for yourself for the day. Take a little drive, listen to an audiobook, whatever. So that is driving directions right there. And again, that's one a lot of people are unaware of. So just a reminder, you have your results, go to map view right here, click driving directions, and that will give you that Google map link. So we've looked at detail view, photo, map, and list view. We're going to go back to detail view just so I can show you a couple of other items. So in the detail view, right above the actual address itself, you have different tab options, and I'm just going to show you a couple of these. So one is the history tab. The history tab is going to show if it has ever been in Flex MLS before. So right here, you got, okay, you can see it was listed and closed back in February of 2015. And you can, look at the info like on that. Obviously, there's been a little bit of a price adjustment since 2015, 10 years ago. So you can see, oh, there's a 97% change. Duh. But yeah, so if it has ever been listed in Flex before, you can see that in the history tab. Kind of going over, every single listing will have a Realist Tax Info option here. Realist Tax Info by CoreLogic is integrated into MLS United's Flex MLS system as one of like a member product, and it is an amazing like tool to have because it makes looking up property tax information a lot easier than trying to navigate a public tax assessor website. So, for example, on this listing here, I'm gonna go back to detail view on the listing, I'm going to click Realist Tax Info, and it's going to pull up a public tax report for me on this property right here. So you can see right there. So very, very handy to have if you just need the general public tax information on a property. So now I'm going to go in detail. So let's say that you were looking at these and none of them are really working for you. So you want to change up your search a little bit. Well, if you are looking at a list of properties in Quick Search, please do not click Quick Search again because what that's going to do is reset your Quick Search. But rather, if you want to just add or omit anything from a current Quick Search, all you need to do is click on the Edit Search button, and then it will bring you right back to your search, and you can make your changes from there. So for example, I did City of Hernando. Maybe I now do want to actually add Olive Branch to my search results, and that's going to change it from 3 to 13 right here, and it will kind of give you a bunch of little dots there, and you can look at it again in list or detail view. So alrighty, so that is a basic quick search to look up active listings in the system. Before I move on to the next item, are there any questions anyone want to throw out there? And if so, you can put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask it out loud as well. I'll give it a couple of minutes while I take a sip of water, or not a couple of minutes. I'll give it a few seconds while I give a sip of water.
Quick question. You're probably going to cover this, but what if I wanted to send those listings to a client?
Yep. Great question. And you are absolutely correct. I am going to show you how you can quickly send search results to a client here in just a second. Well, I'm going to go over how to pinpoint and do some shape drawings, and then I'll show you. Then that's the next item after that one. But great question because that is what a lot of people want to end up doing. All right. Now, real quick, now what I'm going to do is I am actually going to click on Quick Search, and we're going to start over because the next item I'm going to go over is how you can use the shape tools and the radius tools to find properties in the system. So if you are in Quick Search and you are looking at the map right here, you'll notice you have a toolbar on the top or bottom right of the map. And the items I'm going to focus on this toolbar are these 3 shape tools and this red pen. Okay. So what I'll do first is I'm going to use the red pen tool right here. What that is that is a way that you can pin down a individual subject property and create a search around that property. And what's great about this tool is it's integrated with the Google Map system with Flex. And so what this can do is it will locate any subject property regardless if it has been in Flex or not. Like if it's ever been in the MLS at all, it doesn't matter. You can pinpoint this subject property. So if you click it, it is called the locate address button. I call it the red pin. And we're going to look up an individual subject property. Let's try ranch. My mom is probably really tired of me using her house for these examples. So you type in an address and hit locate, and it's going to pin down and locate an address there. So what you can do with this that's really handy is if you click on use this location, some options will pop up now. You can look at it in street view, bird's eye view, or even remove the pin. But the main reason I pin that down is because let's say that your client is looking for a house within a 2-mile radius of an individual property. Let's say, it's a mother-in-law, a father, anything like that. You can locate the property. And then when you click use that location, select radius search, and then you can create a radius around that property. So, like I said, I'm going to do a 2-mile radius around it, and I'm going to click create radius. And then it might take the map a second, but it'll zoom out and it will show you any active listings within a 2-mile radius of that property. Now, let's break this down because I don't want it to zoom out too much when I do this, but let's say now that your client is looking for a house in DeSoto County, but they really don't like their mother-in-law and they don't want to live within 2 miles of them. They want to make sure they're at least 2 miles away. Well, you can use this same exact circle here that we just created, except on the left-hand side where it says shape, notice it says within. If you click that a couple of times, it'll say not within. And now it's going to show you all listings that are not within that circle. So you can make sure to stay clear of wherever you don't want to be 2 miles of. So it's a very, very cool little feature there. And again, I know this is a virtual class, so it might just be a little quick. I'll redo that again. I just want to show you real quick. You want to locate a property, go into quick search, edit search, and then click red pin, locate, type in your address, hit locate, pin it down right there. Use the location, create a radius, create, and it creates it for you. Voila. So that's radius search. The other, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. If you're ever creating multiple shapes, you can, on the left here, you can click the little X and it will remove them for you. So now let's look at just these other search shape tools. Similar to radius, but you can customize and draw your own shapes. So what we'll do is we'll start at the top here. If you can see, there's a square, a circle, and then this one is called the polygon. So the square will make either squares or rectangle. So I'm going to zoom in on the map a little bit. And let's say that you are just looking for something in this particular area right here. If you are on the shape, on the square tool, you click and drag out and then double click. And what that does is it will break your search down to anything inside of that square. So similar with circle. I'm going to zoom out of the map a little bit. Same with circle. You can click circle. And let's say that, you want to do a circle right here. And as you drag out, it will do it in miles for you. So we got 1.32 miles. Click it, double click, and voila. It will add anything in that circle radius to your search. Now, zoom out again. The polygon tool is actually my favorite shape tool because you can get a little bit more custom with it. So if you click polygon, this is where you will actually click little dots and make your own shape. So let's say you wanted anything from here. You don't want to go past this interstate. Go here, 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 and then all the way up here. And then double click, and it will add that to your search. And again, you can get wild with the polygon tool. Like the polygon has sides that intersect. Okay, so I went a little too wild, but yeah, you see what I mean, though. You can, this is a little area here is more like a triangle, so you can, get that, and then voila, double click it, and it will add to your search. Now, over here on the left, we'll show all the different shapes that you have created. So if you hover over each one, they will all highlight in yellow because let's say that you actually don't want the circle in there. So or one of the polygons you don't want. You can see which one is what, and then you can click the X and it will remove it from your search. Now, I'm going to remove all of them except the circle because I showed you the locate and the shape tool and the radius search. And now I will address the gentleman's question that he had earlier about sending emails to clients. So with search results here, you can look at them in list view or detail view, however you want to look at them. But let's say, okay, you know what? These are all, what they might be looking for. I might break it down a little bit and give a budget, just you have a little bit less. So let's say 400 is the budget. Okay, so now we got 5 within that circle under 400. So you can take a look at them in list view if you want, just to make sure everything is cool. And then you can even look detailed. Now, how do you send it to a client? Super, super simple. Flex actually has buttons right up here specifically for that. Now, you can click share and you can share it directly to Facebook, email, text, Twitter, permalink. A permalink, for those that are wondering, is a direct link to these listings. So if you wanted to just to like share the link like as an email, like from your own email system, you could click that, copy the link, and then send it that way. Or you could send it directly through FlexMLS. So well, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to click on email right here. And you have 2 options. You have an interactive version and a printer-friendly version. The interactive version is a little bit more up to date, a little bit more user-friendly for them to look at. The printer-friendly version is basically a public version of the detail report that they're going to see as an email. So it'll give you 2 different options. We'll click interactive for right now. And now when you go to do this, oh, I'm logged in as another agent. Whoops. Well, that she'll be the example, I guess. I won't actually send it though because it'll look like it's sending from her. And but you click, you can see here on the left, it'll say all results. If you wanted the tax info, any documents, open houses, you can send that. As long as those documents are marked public. If they're marked private, they will not send to your client. And then from here, you can see where it's going to be coming from. You can enter your contact's name if they, have the contact already added, or if they don't, they can click on add new contact, add their first, last name, and email, save it, and then it will be added. If there's any additional emails you want to add on there, but maybe not add them as a client per se, like a spouse or someone like that, or let's say it's a first-time home buyer and their father or their mother want to be copied on any listings, you can add their email there. Below that, it has options to send a copy to me, notify me when they view the page. You can keep those checked or uncheck them. And then it says, how would you like to send this email? And you'll have 3 options. You have use FlexMLS, my email application, or just give me the link. Using FlexMLS, that means it'll send from the FlexMLS system. If you check on my email application, it's going to automatically open up whatever your default email system is. So if you use Outlook on your computer, it will open up Outlook with the listing links and all ready to rock and roll, and you can click send. Or you can click on just give me the link, and then you can copy that link, similar to what I've mentioned about the permalink. You can create templates for emails if you would like. If you have any saved templates, you can add those there. And then here's where you'll put the subject and the message for your email. And then it'll have your calling card at the bottom there. Now, one item, and again, it's an imperfect world. Okay. In my opinion, I think this blue button down here should not say email. I think it should say send, but that is the send button that you will click to send your email off. So just know that the blue email button means, hey, email it out. I wish it said send, but here we are. And that's how you send an email of these listings right here. Now, additionally, you can also save this search to come back to later by clicking on Save and Save Search, and you can name your search, add a description of the search, and click Save, and it will appear in your saved searches. Where would your saved searches be? You can go to Menu, under Search, and then find Saved Searches, and it will have any saved searches that you have created in Flex. And I just reset that entire thing by clicking the home button. But that is how you can go to save searches. So that's emailing and saving the searches. And additionally, you have another option with looking at results. I'm just going to break down a search real quick just to show you real fast. Hernando. This will give me not a lot of results. I'm just trying to get a small amount. All right, we can work with 15. All right. So additionally, next to email and save, you have the print option. So if you wanted to print these listings for yourself, you can click on print and it will show you like what all you are printing and the different items here. So if you wanted to print a list view of these, you can click on list and it will give you a list view. Now, it doesn't automatically populate on the right here for a preview until you click on preview. But when you click on preview, this is what it will show you right here. I'm going to uncheck detail and just keep it on list. Click preview again just to make sure everything is good. And then, so this is a good way that you can print it. You can select the version you are printing, public or private. And then down here, if you didn't want a list and you wanted the full detail like view of of these listings, you can click on that and it's going to print off each of these right here as the public version. Now, quick note, when you are printing, you will have the option to do a public or private version. If you are presenting these to a client, I would recommend keeping it on the public version. If you are doing it for your own research or whatnot, keep it on private. And then you will have all of the information that you would see as an agent in FlexMLS. And just a quick note, email by default will not send a private version to your client. Okay, so it automatically will send a public version when you email. You are actually not able to send a private version out through Flex to a contact. Okay, and they do that because I think too many people throughout the number of years that Flex has been around have accidentally sent private versions of listings to their clients. So you can only send public. If for whatever reason you want to email a private version of this, you would need to print it and save it as a PDF and email it that way to whoever you are sending that to. Alrighty. So that was emailing, sending off. The last item is going to be very similar. It's still going to be a quick search, but I'm going to show you how to look for closed listings in the system rather than active listings. So this would be for comp purposes most of the time. And an example I'm going to use for today's is, let's say you have a client, and we've all seen this happen. They are very, very, very close to their house, okay, and it's very sentimental to them, and they do not believe that they should accept anything under a certain price, but that certain price compared to market value is $100,000 more than what any other house in that neighborhood is going for. And they're not taking your word for it. Well, maybe they'll take actual data for it. And so this is how you can show them that. So in the quick search, you have the status. Okay, it was one of the first things that I showed you. Status, again, by default shows all the active ones, but you don't need active. So we're going to click on the status box and we're going to select closed. And when you select close, the off market dates will drop down automatically below that. Those off market dates are going to show, hey, how many listings closed within a certain date range. So by default, I think it goes back 1 year, even though it goes 2035 all the way back to 2024. And so this is what it will look like by default. However, if you look to the left of these, you will actually see that there are these little arrows that go back and forth. I call them shuffle arrows. If you click that, it will change the way you can pull your off-market dates back. So instead of an actual date range, you could go in and type in a certain number of days back. So like, if you wanted something very recent and say, hey, all right, Sally, here are the listings in your subdivision that have closed in the last 120 days. You can type in 120 days and then scroll down. I'm going to zoom back out so you can see where I'm at. And then scroll down and we're going to find subdivision. So in subdivision, we'll just type in Cherry Tree Park South. We'll do that. And we will see what listings have closed in that specific subdivision in the last 120 days. And you can click on list. and then it will give you a list breakdown of this. Now, you notice when I first started this class, I told you about upcoming classes, and I said today's session will be just about quick search. And I am doing a CMA class coming up. I think November is or October is my CMA one. Okay, a CMA is a comparative market analysis. Now, while some of you may not want to wait until October, I will do a deep dive into CMAs to running, market reports. But don't worry, I'm going to show you a very, very quick way that you could get a one-line CMA with these results to show your client with averages right here, right now. So we have all these here. Yes, you can print off these reports or email them, or not email them because they're closed, but you can print off these reports and, show them to your client and say, hey, these are the prices. This is the price range here. You could even do the math yourself, or I'm going to show you how you can run a CMA, a one-line CMA in under 15 seconds with these results. So if you were looking at all 9 of these results, up at the top next to the print button that I showed you earlier, there is a CMA button. If you click on CMA, you will have the CMA menu pop up. And then in the middle, there is an option that says one-line CMA. Click on that, and it's going to give you a very just simplistic breakdown one-line CMA report of your search results right here with averages at the bottom. So you got your average square feet, your average price per square foot, the days on market, original and sales price, or original list and closing price right here, right now. So if your client loves their house and says, I won't accept anything under $400,000, and then you bring them this CMA report and say, okay, that's fine. But just to let you know, out of 9 houses that have closed here in the last 120 days, this was the actual average closing price. So you may want to chill out. Obviously say it in a professional manner, but this is a very quick and easy way that you can show just averages to your clients and kind of pull them back into reality a little bit. And again, we can go to edit search, and you can break down your closed listings however you want to do it. If you wanted to do, 60 days back, you could do that, like see what's closed in the last 60 days or even 30 days. If you don't like doing the days back system, you can always click the shuffle button and it will resort back to the days or to the actual date range. And then this one's really neat too. I don't know what kind of reports you're going to be pulling with this, but if you click on that shuffle button to days back, you can actually click on the word days and it will change it to months. And then you can also click on months and it will change it to years. So if we go 365 years back, I don't think the results are going to change too much on there, but you do have that option. So if you wanted to see what's closed in the last 2 years in this, you can do it by years. I'm going to click it to go back to days back, obviously. And then I'm going to return this to the way it was so it doesn't save like that for the agent. Yeah. And then again, with anything like that, closed, pending, expired, withdrawn. So like if you wanted to see how many listings expired in the last year in that subdivision, you could click how many were canceled. You could do that. How many have pending or how many are currently pending. You can do that. So that's how you can look at off-market, closed, pending, expired, withdrawn listings in quick search as well with the off-market date ranges. Alrighty. And that pretty much sums up all the different quick search related items that I go through with today's session. I'm going to show you one. It's not necessarily quick search, but it is a very, very helpful tool in Flex. And then I'll open the last 10 minutes up for any Q&A that anyone might have. So this next thing I'm showing you is just a tool feature in Flex. And the reason I brag on it is because it is what helped me learn the Flex MLS system as a whole. Because quick little history lesson, when I first started working at the Northwest Association back in 2019, I was a fresh grad out of college with a communication marketing style degree, and they were hiring as a communications director. So I jumped on that, and it seemed like a really cool place. It was a cool place, by the way. If any of my, coworkers from there are listening in. You guys are cool. And I was told, hey, you're going to be doing communications. I was like, awesome. And then I started, and the AE said, hey, you're also going to be an MLS support person. And my first question to that was, what's an MLS? I had no real estate background. I had no idea what any of that meant. And you know what happened a few months later? This little thing called COVID happened. And so what that meant was I was working from home without anyone down the hall that could help me out with any MLS questions that I had. So I had to quickly learn the system. And I did that by finding the video training section of Flex. So to find that in Flex, there is a help button in the top right. If you click that, there is an option called video training. And this was my bread and butter for learning the MLS system. And this is why I'm recommending it to you, because you can attend as many virtual classes, you can attend in-person classes all you want. The best way that anyone is going to learn the Flex MLS system is by getting in there and messing around with it yourself. So I recommend checking this video training section out and going and actually messing around in Flex yourself and getting comfortable with the system, because you can't mess anything up. If you ever feel you're messing anything up, call MLS United. They can help you out. But you cannot really mess anything up, especially doing a quick search, because it resets every time. But anything that you might want to learn how to do in Flex will be available on the video training sections here. So, like, for example, what I just did was quick search. And there is a whole 20-minute video on quick search and search results, Flex MLS overviews, quick search for office members, anything related to quick search will be in here. And these videos can range from, 5 minutes long all the way, or heck, even 2 minutes long, all the way to, I've seen some go over an hour. And so get in there. If you got any free time, check them out. They're very, very handy. I literally went through and watched all the available videos at that time. And that is how I learned how to use the Flex system. And so if it worked for me, it can work for you. So I just wanted to quickly show you that before I open it up for Q&As. But that is all I had for Quick Search today. And this was the first official Tommy's 2 cents, this new little virtual training class we're doing. And just FYI, I am not taking credit for that name. I think either Rachel, the new communications person for the MLS, or Amanda came up with that. I want to say it was Rachel, but I don't want to take credit for that name. But yeah, so if you have any questions, add them in the chat, unmute yourself and ask them, and go forth. We got 10 more minutes for any Q&A that anyone might have. If you don't have any questions, then you are free to go and live your lives. And I appreciate you for attending today. And just FYI, everyone is muted by default. So if you are talking to ask a question, you are muted.
So Tommy, yeah, I just put in the chat, will you please go over how to print flyers with the pictures, to pick specific pictures for a flyer?
Yeah, let me see here. Yep. Let me. Yep. So, and I will be 100% honest. That is one item that I did not really go over too much, like even as an MLS support person, simply because I'm a huge advocate for Canva and I love Canva so much. So any flyers that would ever need to be made, I would do it that way. But let's take a look here. I'm usually good at figuring things out. All right, so we're going to go here. We're going to go to print. Alrighty, so on the flyer section, to get a flyer printed, like let's say you wanted a flyer for this property right here, you find it and you click on print. Then, see here. All right. So on the different flyers that Flex has, so by default, when you go to print, and if you need to make sure you're in detail view for one, and then here is where you can select the different like detail prints, and it includes different flyer options right here. So these first are going to actually be like more report style systems, but like let's say you wanted a 5-photo flyer. Make sure you're on detail, click on MU 5-photo flyer. That's a tongue twister. And then click on preview. And then you can see here, it will automatically add and create a flyer for you. And then you can click on print, or you can even email the flyer, however you want to do it. But that's pretty much creating flyers. Unfortunately, I have asked Flex this question, and this is why I'm a huge advocate for Canva. And what it's going to do, it's going, like, if you select a 5-photo flyer, it's going to pull the first 5 photos in the order in which they are in your listing and add that to the flyer. I think they have some changes coming. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that you can't interchange those flyers currently, or interchange the photos on that flyer in Flex. So what I always recommend people doing is whatever first 5 photos you want, I would go in and reorder your photos, like, drag your photos to the first 5 that you want, and then they'll be saved, and then you can click on preview. Now, if you are doing a flyer for another agent's listing, you're kind of stuck at whatever the first 5 photos are for that. But that's how you can print a flyer. Just go to print, and then on the detail report right here, scroll down and do MU5, MU5, MU7. There are different styles, like the 7 photo one looks like this, and then you can print it off right here. So, and I will take that opportunity to plug Canva. There's a base version of Canva for free. It can turn anyone into a graphic designer. When I started working at the association 6 years, 6 years ago, I was an Adobe guy. I only used Adobe programs like Illustrator, InDesign, and I started. And then the AE Amanda said, "Hey, buddy, we use Canva here," and I was like, "Canva? I'm not going to use Canva. I'm an Adobe person." I love Canva now. It is a superior system, and that I highly recommend to anybody that needs to market anything. So. But that's how you can do a flyer from Flex MLS. So, good question. There is not currently a Canva integration, unfortunately. That would require some special partnership between FBS and Canva. So there's not a way you can just pull information integrated directly into Canva. My biggest tip, since it's digital, it won't really be a huge deal. You can literally right click and click copy on a photo, and then you can go to Canva and just paste it directly into Canva. That's a quick way. It'll give you a web optimized version of that photo. And again, that's if you're doing it digitally. If you are wanting to do it like print wise, I would recommend saving the actual photo to your computer and adding it to Canva. That way the resolution's a little bit better for print. If it's your own photos that you're making a flyer for, I would honestly use the actual photo files to get the best quality, though. A permalink will last as long as the listing is in active compilations, like the public version of it. So that means like once it closes, that if people go to click that link, it'll say not available. And just to clarify, somebody asked if I wanted to do a permalink, how long did they last? And that was what the answer to that was. Make sure I'm not. Is there a way to send the info to Canva? Also, is there a way to find who the buyer was when a property closes? The last name was on our hold sheet. We haven't been able to find it. No, you cannot find the buyer information in Flex MLS. Right there, because that the buyer information is, you can find the buyer the listing and selling member of a property, like the agents involved, but there's not a field for buyer information in Flex MLS. Somebody asked if there was a way to find buyer information when a property closes. Somebody did ask, I missed it. How do you view all selected listings at the same time? If you are in quick search and you have a list of search results in list view, there's a above right here on the left. There is a checkbox. I'll zoom in on it. There's a checkbox at the very, very top right here above all the listings. If you click that, it will select all the listings. I had 6,000, so it was like, hey, buddy, chill out. But so if you have like 15, it'll automatically select for you. Should print custom flyers. Great job. Nothing here. Alrighty, making sure there's no more of or the three buttons to the right of the listing detail on the left side. Or the three buttons to the right, listing detail on the left side. I'm not sure. It said what are the three buttons to right of listing detail on the left side. I'm not sure where you're referring to on that.
Tommy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look right there, residential, I'm sorry, where the first listing is over just down to the bottom, right where the exclamation point is, it looks like a suitcase or a briefcase. And yeah, those three, what are those?
Let's see.
Do we even need them?
As agent, you don't need them. So these are viewer edit notes. Like you can add like different notes like about it. This right here will hide it like from you. And then this one right here, recommend to contact. This is like a way to like pin and mark down like listings. So like some that you want to recommend to contact, just quick little buttons like, hey, click it here, hide it here, add notes here. So I can count on one hand. Good attention to detail. I can count on one hand how many people in the last 6 years have asked me about those.
Yeah, it just seems kind of that they were there. That's good.
One home closes, will it terminate? Somebody asked if they have a list of homes and one home closes, will it terminate the permalink? I don't think so. And again, good question, Eric. I've never run across that happening. But what I would think when you send that permalink, it'll bring up any listings in active compilation. So it'll probably just take off that closed listing. If you do find that that does happen, reach out to MLS United and we can reach out to Flex to see if there would be a fix. But I've never had anyone say that that's happened before. So I don't think so. How can I download MLS Sheet instead of copy and pasting to download it? I don't know what that means. What do you mean MLS Sheet? You can download any sheet as a PDF by clicking on print. And then you can actually, if you click on email right here, it will email the print version as a PDF for you. So that would be the best way to download it on there if you wanted to actually download a detail report. Looks like suitcase. Okay, enjoy your time. Would you explain what permalink is? Just a direct link to whatever listings you were trying to share. Somebody asked, would you explain what permalink is? It's a fancy way of saying here's a link to these listings that you can copy and paste and send off like to whoever you need to send it to. Erica said, will I be able to rewatch this? Yes, this is being recorded. It will be edited up and uploaded to the MLS United YouTube channel. And I believe they'll let people know when those recordings are available. All righty. Well, if there are no more questions, I thank you for the questions. I do appreciate them. Sometimes you'll teach classes and no one says anything, and I either take that as, okay, they don't know what to ask, or, man, you just did such a great job. No one has any questions. So I do appreciate everyone being here today. Again, join us for our next one. Right here on September 17th. I'll go over everything related to adding and managing listings in the system, including going over some like field definitions. When you go to add a listing, I'll briefly go over what some of those items mean, and then also how to manage incomplete and actual current active listings for you. And again, that's September 17th. It'll be just like this, a quick 1-hour webinar session. So with that said, I'll unshare. Stop share. And I will officially say goodbye, everybody. You all have a wonderful day and get out there and sell.